Governor, Mayor, for the last year, I've been deferring to my partner and letting him speak first. I'm starting to feel this is terribly unfair, and I was thinking about renegotiating that provision of the partnership agreement. But since I like the partnership agreement's provisions about fees, I think I'll leave Glenn continue to speak first. I see over on my right Dr. Brown and the Mandela rowing team. All right. For those of you who don't know, for the last several years, Dr. Brown has done a most remarkable thing at Mandela, bringing together a group of terrific kids from the neighborhood and forming the nation's first Afro-American rowing team, which is now rowed in the head of the Charles and events all across the country and in Canada, and next year will go international, if I remember correctly. Dr. Brown's work has really been the crocus of spring. The crocus of spring of change at Mandela, and is a real bright spot to us and the community. We had terrific cooperation from all of the agencies that assist the development of affordable housing in the city. The Federal Home Bank, and in particular my old boss, John Eller, who can't be with us today, the Mass Housing Investment Corporation, Mass Housing Partnership, the city. Everybody really came together. We had a terrific cooperation from Fleet Bank and PNC. We asked them to do some pretty gutsy, maybe even some stupid things, and we didn't give them much time to think about it either. Everybody really pulled together to make this happen. Good business people don't usually thank people who've lost money in their deals. At least they don't thank them publicly. But in an unusual twist, we want to thank some people who lost a lot of money in Mandela, and that's the creditors of the former owner. Millions were lost by Winter Hill Bank, the City of Boston, the Boston Water and Sewer Authority, but at the end they all came together and recognized that it was more important to stop fighting and to trust in the community and to turn the buildings over to us so that we could get on with the work of the community, and they were all terrific. It took a host of extremely able bankruptcy and real estate lawyers to wrest this property from its former owner and to close the transaction. Stephen Gray and Bruce Erickson from the federal court bankruptcy trustees, and Paul Moore, their counsel, withstood years of threats and insults. The city's lawyers, Saul Shapiro and Nina Lambert, and of course our legal team, Kirk Jackson, Paul Ricotta, our team at Mintz Levin, and my favorite general counsel, Kathleen Sheehan, worked hours and hours, nights and weeks to make this a reality. We also want to thank our friends at the Boston HUD office, who often don't get thanked, because behind the scenes they continue to work little pieces of federal magic that kept our Section 8 contract going and did a lot of other things to make this happen. At one point in every great story, there's a moment of truth requiring the hero, or in our case, the heroine, to take the big risk. At the critical junction of Mandela, we called upon Jane Gumbel and her mighty rowing crew at DHCD to make it clear to the bankruptcy court that the necessary state funding would be available if the court approved the bankruptcy plan. Without this step, it had become perfectly clear that the court was going to dismiss the case and turn the project back to who knows what end. Jane knew that whatever she did would be the source of litigation, threats, calls to the governor's office, and intimidation. She had every reason not to trust anybody in this transaction, and no reason to get involved in this transaction except for one. And that reason, it was the right thing to do, and she did it. She took the heat and made Glenn's and MRCA's dream come true. And we want to offer a special thanks to Jane Gumbel.